in What's New to BGA, where I bring you the new game that's now playable on BGA, gives you Reforest. Reforest is a hand management card game. It's 1 to 4 players and takes about 26 minutes. The game is played over 3 rounds. You can see there's a goal for each round. Each round, whoever has the highest of each goal gets this visitor, which is worth 5 points. The round is over once the plant deck here runs out. Currently there's 21 cards. Then you score this visitor, and you can see there's some tuck cards behind them. You take those tuck cards plus any in the discard, shuffle them together, and create the new deck. And then at the end of the second round, do the same, and the third round will have final scoring. You can see here, depending on the number of players, is how many cards will be in all of the decks. You'll start with 5 cards in your hand. There's a nursery here of 3 face-up cards, or you can always draw from the top of the deck. Breakdown of the card, you see here the top left. This is the cost of the card. This one costs 2. Now this is a multiple use card game. So basically you're going to take this card, play it, and then you're going to discard 2 other cards from your hand if you're paying the full cost. You can see here the elevation it can go in. It can go in the middle or bottom. It cannot go in the top. You can see here its requirement for shade tolerance. There's either full sun, or this one is the half shade. There's the height, which kind of corresponds with the shade tolerance. We'll talk about that in a second. There's the value here on the top right or the bottom right. Every card will have some kind of ability here. This one's a passive one, but you can see there's one that triggers after effects and so on. And the very bottom there, you'll see these little icons. That's what you're going to be trying to get here with the visitors, getting the most of those berries. You can see this one here happens to have a berry right here. Now, when you build, you'll see you're going to put 3 cards down below, then 2 in the middle, and then 1 up high. You are going to be slowly putting cards on top of each other, but these are your 6 places you can play. You have your low, your medium, and then the high. During your turn, you're going to have 2 options. You can gather plants or play plants. When you gather plants, you're going to draw 2 cards. They can come from the nursery or the top of the deck. Do be aware when you gather plants, the hand limit is 7 at the end of your turn. You have to discard down to that if you draw too many. Your other option is to play a plant, and that's going to be simply playing cards from your hand into your mountain here. Now, when you start the game, you have to start at the bottom in one of these 3 spaces, and then you have to play adjacent. So you can go to the top, but only after playing 2 other cards. You have to start in the bottom, then go middle, then you can play the top. But basically, you work from the bottom, work your way up. So I'm going to play this card first. You see I'm going to click down. It costs me 1 card. I can only play it in one of these 3 places. I'll place it here. Now I have to discard 1 card to pay for it, and then pay it, and then I'm done for the turn. Now quickly about adjacency, several cards will talk about adjacent plants. You'll see if you're starting here, the adjacent plants are the ones that are directly next to it, and then maybe on the top or bottom, and they do actually count for the cards underneath the stack as well. So now I'm going to show you how to build on top of other plants. So here, this plant here requires full sun, which means when you play over it, you're actually going to cover it up and it's going to die. But since I've already paid a 1 cost here, it gives me a 1 card discount on any future card. So here I'm going to play this one on top of it, and you'll see I don't have to pay anything because of that discount. Because that card below it had the full sun icon on it, it dies, it gets flipped over, and turns into stored energy. Stored energy at the end of the game will be worth 1 point, or you can use that energy on adjacent spaces to play cards down. So now I'm going to play this card here, which costs 4. Now I currently don't have 4 in my hand. You can see I only have 3 to pay for, but you can see here how the stored energy is selectable. And when I select it, that counts as a card. And now I can pay 4 and pay for that card and put it there. The card is discarded, so I no longer get that point, but I was able to use that energy to help pay for other cards. So to summarize, you're going to pay the top left corner a cost. You get any discounts if you place it over a previous place card. The discount is the total cost of the card already placed down. Then you can pay for cards out of your hand or stored energy. One important thing I forgot to mention when placing a plant on top of another one, the size of the plant here is very important. You can only place down bigger plants than this number here. So, for example, this one here, since it's 0.25, could not go over this guy. So here I'm going to place this T plant over here. And now since this plant has a half and half symbol, meaning it can survive in half shade, it will not get discarded. I do have to pay a 1 cost because this is a 2, -1, so I need to pay 1 card. Then the card goes on top of it. And then, like I said, since that other card survives, you can see these symbols are left here. So now I get these symbols when trying to match the visitors at the end of each round. So that's the big reason why you want to try to cover over plants. Not only do they get cheaper, you still get the symbols down there for the visitors. And you also still get the points for each of those cards. All right, so we just hit the end of the round. So we just awarded the black bear. Since my opponent had 2 cherry symbols to my 0, they got that card and they get the 5 points. Now that happened mid-round during my turn. So as soon as the deck ran out, we figured out who won that bear. They got their points. We shuffled the cards under the bear and in the discard together, and now I continue my turn. And then you go through this deck, and then round 2 will be over, and then you go through the next deck, and then round 3, and then the game is over. Here's an example of what happens with cards' abilities. So you can see here I just played this. Whenever you grow a plant there with that symbol adjacent space, draw a card from the deck. So it allows you to click on it, which tells you you're going to draw a card. And then I can draw from the deck and then hit confirm. And that's kind of how reaction abilities or abilities on plants work. Here's a summary here of all the plant effects. There's a when played, well, obviously when you play it. And then there's passive, which are always in effect until covered. There's reactions that trigger when certain conditions are met. There's before or after gathering, so that's when you draw cards. When covered, that's when you put a bigger plant on top of a smaller one. And then finally scoring at the end of the game. There is no scoring per rounds. It's only at the end of the game. The plant effects are optional, but they're only available while the plant is either face up or on the most top of a stack. Once another plant is placed over it, the effects are no longer usable. And then at the very end of the rulebook, there's a glossary of terms. The biggest thing that confused me, and I don't know about other people's, but the word canopy, that only refers to the topmost plant of each stack. Speaking of scoring, here's what we're looking at. First is the plant value. So that's the score for the value on each face-up plant, including those in the understory. Understory are cards that are underneath other plants. So as long as they don't get flipped over, they are still worth their points. Then there's scoring effects. That's just the yellow area on certain plants. There's stored energy. These are the cards that are flipped over. Like I said, they're all worth 1. Then you get your visitor value, which is usually 5. Then there's the elevation bonus. You count the number of plant cards in the smallest stack of each elevation row, or score 2 points for each of those cards. But you don't count stored energy, and empty spaces count as 0. So basically, you're trying to get equal stacks to score the most points for those. And then any cards left in your hand, you score 1 point for every 2 cards remaining. So is this one worth your time? Well, if you enjoy combos like I do, I really enjoy that about this game, hunting, finding the combos. Oh, this will work really well with this card and so on. That's definitely one of the strong points of this game. If you like Wingspan or Forest Shuffle, both of those I got instant vibes for this, especially Forest Shuffle of the paying cost. But then as I played more, the artwork looks very like Wingspan, but the abilities and how they activate and stuff remind me a lot of Wingspan. So if you like either of those 2 games, this is probably one you should probably check out. If you enjoy multiple use cards, for the most part, it's just pay for them and play them. But I still like that mechanic. It makes it very clean and easy. I mean, this is a digital format, but if you actually own this game physically, it is literally just a small deck of cards. It's really cool that this thinky puzzle combo game is just one stack of cards. It's really cool and really clever and a good design. It doesn't have to have tokens, doesn't have to have a board, just one small deck of cards. And then lastly, if you like solo, I haven't got to dive into that yet, but BGA is a great place if you have a little bit of time and you can try a game out solo. It's a great place to do it. So for me, this one's a solid 8. This is one that is well worth my time and one that I will play. I really enjoy Wingspan. Forest Shuffle is okay. For some reason, I don't like that one as much, but Wingspan is a game that I really enjoy. I really wish we had the expansions on BGA, but it's never going to happen. They talked about keeping those on the app, but I have played quite a bit on the app, and I do enjoy Wingspan, and this is definitely one I'm going to play a little bit more, figure out those combos, figure out the best way. But I think I'll definitely be playing this one quite a bit. Well, I've been the Digital Board Gamer. As always, good luck and have fun.